Texting. Good evening, America. Welcome to the 300th episode of I Don't Disagree. That's IDD for you super cool kids out there. 106 of you now. 106 super cool human beings out there. That's who we are right now. The redoubtable one himself, Tom Izzo, the highly questionable one, Arjun Miliat Show. Merry early Christmas. It is a, what is it? What day is it? Tuesday? It is a tip 'em back token
Tuesday.
Testicle shrinkage Tuesday.
Testicle Tuesday.
It is nippy, boys and girls. Just to show the dedication, It is currently below freezing here in the mid-sack. And a frosty sack is not a fertile sack. I'll just tell you that right now. Any event.
Close to the best.
Close to the best. So in any event, this is our 300th episode, and we're going to start tonight with an NFL recap. Some very interesting stuff happened over the weekend in the NFL. Most notably, the continued dissension and destroying of oneself legacy by one Bill Belichick.
Is that the most notable happening this weekend?
The greatest, supposedly, the greatest coach of all time is going down in flames. Now, I've never said that about him.
Flamboyant.
He is going down like the Titanic, and it is enjoyable to watch. And the only question is, does he make it to the rest of the season? I don't think he should. He has not earned that, in my opinion. And here's the other thing, Tom. And I wanted your take on this, because I heard something this weekend from up there, and I don't know. Now, no one's confirmed this, but a couple of different people, I don't know how credible they are. They might be right. I don't know. But there are a lot of people saying that, and one guy actually put what should have been a video link to this, of the draft day 3 years ago when the Patriots drafted Mac Jones. And apparently, Robert Kraft ordered this pick to happen. And Bill Belichick went around the room and pointed at every freaking assistant coach and whoever was it and asked them individually, do you want this guy? This is supposedly what happened, which means Bill didn't want him from the jump. Now, if this is true, and I don't know if it's true, let's be very clear here. If this is
Who's
true,
saying this happened?
The one guy put a link up there to try and that shows him doing this or whatever.
Did you watch it?
I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was working.
Probably not even real.
I don't know if it's real or not, but it's not the first time I've heard this. Okay, but this guy actually posted a link where you can supposedly see it. The thing is, when I turned off my feed, I didn't turn off my feed after a while. It'll go away, so I couldn't find it again. It was on Facebook.
I would suggest not clicking on that link. You never know
You never know what it is. But I'm just saying, I was so curious, I was going to do it because I wanted to see it. But the thing is, if that is even true, which I don't know that it is, but let me tell you why this. If Robert Kraft forced Bill Belichick to draft Mac Jones, let me tell you why he forced him to do it. Because the guy he loved won a Super Bowl. We bring in a league MVP who's 30 years old and he can't even go 500, which proved Brady's point. I have no weapons. What do you want from me? Ask for help. Belichick blasts him. It actually coincides with the story that Stephen A. Smith originally 3 years ago about Brady's departure, and him and Belichick had a fight at the end, and how Belichick blamed Brady when Brady just asked for help and saying Julian was getting old, Julian's breaking down, he's not going to last, we need more help, Gronk's retired. And by the way, the running game that year, the year before they won the Super Bowl now, they were 5th in the NFL in rushing, they fell to 16. What can't the Patriots do now, Tom? They can't run the football.
They can't run or pass.
They can't run or pass because there's no Julian Edelman out there either. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, so the bottom line is, and this actually falls in line with everything, but the thing is, okay, if that happened, if Robert Kraft made the call down to that draft room and said, you are drafting this kid, I don't give a shit, then that's on you, Bill, because you're the one who ran the greatest quarterback of all time out the door when he wasn't done. And he proved it when he won a Super Bowl in a COVID year without you, with a 7-9 team and a fucking bum coach. He took a bum coach to the promised land, okay? And the point is, and all he did, he got weapons, he got help. He even got Antonio Brown to be a good soldier for a year and put a ring on his finger, Bill. You didn't give him 11 days and you threw him out on a trumped-up charge that was later thrown out. He wasn't guilty of it. Again, Antonio Brown's a nut job. He's three ways to the sheets. I get it. But Brady kept him in line. Brady kept him in line long enough to put a ring on his finger, which could have been a ring on our finger in New England, and the fans now know it. Now, my question to you is, given Bill Belichick's 10-year-old responses to these things, how far off is this? How far-fetched do you think it is? Because if he went around the room and asked every guy, do you want this guy, do you want this guy?
Well, it's not that far-fetched.
It's not that far-fetched.
Because we've seen his pettiness. We've seen his I'm smarter than you attitude with everybody. And apparently he may have it with Kraft.
The arrogance is disgusting.
But my thing is, if it's true, to me, it just makes me blame Robert Kraft a little bit more.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know.
I know. I understand.
He trusted the guy.
My thing is this. You had a front row seat to Tom Brady, who
is the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, greatest of all time.
Well done.
And while playing, so far greater than any other player on the field that he went up against. And I'm a Giants fan. I hated Brady for most of it. Until we beat them, I hated Brady. After that, I was able to kind of appreciate him more. But my thing is, he had a front row seat. Then, he chose to trust Bill over Tom, even though... And it sounds like he's friends with Tom. Like, they have a very
he's like his son.
Real
he's
relationship.
Like his son.
So that's why I'm just kind of like, how did he do that? Now, on top of that, if there is a situation where an owner is forcing a coach/GM to make a pick, there's obviously a breakdown in that relationship.
Of course there is.
Because, one, the owner should trust the person to do the right job. And if they can't, if they have to, this is what's happening in Carolina, it sounds like, with Tepper, or whatever his name is.
I feel bad for whoever gets that job.
Exactly. Because it's like, you can't have this situation where I'm forcing a guy on you that you don't want. And if you think I don't want this guy because I have poor judgment, then you should have fired me. Mm-hmm. So that's where I get back to. It all goes back to Kraft should have said, Belichick, go fucking walk. I'll get a better coach in here.
He didn't know.
I know.
Now, here's the problem. The timing, let me tell you why, and I'm not condoning Kraft, but I know why this happened. Because at the time, Brady was coming off his worst year in over a decade, and Kraft doesn't know football like Belichick knows football. He just sees a dip in his, even though the team was 12-4, had a top 10 defense.
Would you get to the AFC title game?
No, they lost in the first round of Tennessee because they blew the
lost to Derrick Henry.
They lost to Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and those guys. The bottom line is...
They always struggled with teams like that.
Yeah, but the bottom line is they shouldn't have been in that game. They lost the game the week before to the journeyman dickhead quarterback. Fitztragic, because Bill's the greatest defensive mind of all time couldn't stop Ryan Fitzpatrick with all the money on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, the guy
that gets overlooked.
The guy did go to Harvard. He was outsmarting him.
Right,
But that's my take on it. It's just like it makes me more mad at Robert Kraft.
Here's
whether it's true or not, I still feel like he was the catalyst to this because he was the only one that could have stopped it.
Look, before Brady left, Kraft and Brady agreed to that deal where Brady could opt out at the end of that year. So Kraft knew it was coming. Brady was still in the building. He knew
Brady
it was
never
coming.
would have opted out if Bill was gone.
If Bill had just drafted better. If Bill hadn't played judge and jury and shit canned Antonio Brown on a charge that was later dropped, he wasn't even guilty of after 11 days with no evidence. It was an accusation.
Nobody wants Antonio Brown.
He won a Super Bowl with him the next year. The point is, Tom Brady could rattle him in.
Tom Brady didn't need Antonio Brown.
Yes, he did.
Super Bowl.
Yes, he did. That year when they were 12-4, when they had him, that one game he played, 65 yards and a touchdown with no practice. And they won in Miami, a place they always struggle to win. They won convincingly. Yes, he would have helped him and Edelman together. They could have won the Super Bowl.
I'm just saying. I'm saying I don't think he needed him in Tampa. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think having him in Tampa with those two. They were the best receiving core in the league at the end of the year. Remember, they didn't lose again after the bye.
Yeah.
And they averaged over 30 points a game. I'd say, yeah, and his numbers were there. Plus,
there's one thing I'm not going to kill Belichick for, it's cutting Antonio Brown when it sounded like there was rape allegations. That's one thing I won't.
Allegations are not guilty.
I understand, but
you can't play judge and jury.
It's not about judge and jury.
He made a decision.
They were going out on a whim, bringing him in, and then all of a sudden this shit came out, and it was kind of like, whoa. We didn't know we were getting involved in
all
this shit.
He had to say was, let the legal process play out. If he's guilty, he's done. But I can't, and all Belichick would have had to say, and he'd been right, I'm not a judge. I'm not in the court system.
Yeah.
He's right now, we don't know.
Organizations do shit like that all the time.
But that was a mistake. And by the way, that was Bill's call.
I'm saying, to me, that's one of his smaller mistakes when you think about the...
Well, it seems small compared to the mountain of idiocy that he has since built.
Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore of idiocy by Bill Belichick. I mean, and there's literally 4 things at least you could put on that mountain. And you'd be fighting about that because there's more than 4. But the thing is, if Kraft did force this pick on him, it was because, and in Kraft's mind, okay, well, we replace Brady with a 11-year younger, 30-year-old league MVP who still can run and still can throw.
Who's coming from the best program in college football.
No, I'm talking about Cam Newton the next year. and Julian Edelman was still out
Cam
there.
couldn't even throw, though.
Yes, he could throw.
No, he couldn't.
I watched every game they played. Dude, he had no weapons.
He had a pea shooter.
He didn't.
His shoulder was done.
He had no weapons. He had no weapons.
That's true.
None.
That's true.
None.
And he was
no longer. He literally, the only difference between him and Mac Jones is he had an injured Julian Edelman, who is
he
still
also
better.
Had an injured shoulder.
He could still throw the ball. I saw him throw a 50-yard bomb in Seattle for a touchdown.
Okay, that would have been the only one he threw.
No, you can't. You can't throw it once 5 weeks into the season and tell me he can't throw anymore. That was game 5.
But he wasn't Cam. He wasn't the same Cam Newton. You got to.
He didn't have to be. He was Tom Brady. Wasn't the same Tom Brady, but he's still good enough to win. Well, Cam Newton was 30 years old. 30 years old, so he's still in his prime. Okay, and if they could throw the ball, he wouldn't have. You know, Cam Newton had 12 rushing touchdowns that year, which tied for the NFL lead.
How many games did he play?
He played all of them but one.
Oh, wow.
So he was durable. They had no weapons in the pass game. What happened to Cam Newton was proof that Brady was right, that they needed more help. So then Kraft panics, and I wouldn't say he panicked.
Cam never got another real job again, right?
No, because they drafted Mac Jones, and Mac Jones beat him out in camp. And by the way, that preseason, they both did well. Cam and Mac both well. But Mac looked better. Okay, and that was his rookie
year.
year.
And they cut him early enough to where
they cut him so he could go sign with somebody
Carolina
else. Yeah, he went back to Carolina. He started up some games, and he didn't do great, but they didn't have it. Carolina stunk. I mean, but the thing is, Brady was proven right by the fact that you need weapons. I don't care who you are. Patrick Mahomes, what do we keep saying about Kansas City? Why can't they? Because these guys keep dropping the fucking ball. And Patrick Mahomes is still back there. Travis Kelce's still running around out there.
Yeah.
But they don't have enough right now. They lost at home to Philly because they didn't have enough.
So he's good enough to do some special things and still score a bunch of points, but when it matters the most,
he won't beat a team like Philly.
You can't trust those weapons.
No, he won't beat a team like Philly like that, and he didn't. And that was on his field.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat Detroit on his field like that. So against an elite team or a really good team, they're not going to win.
His receivers, my God, they lose the game for him.
Remember
in Detroit?
As they did for Cam Newton, and as they did for Tom Brady, and as they're doing for Mac Jones. We've seen this before.
Well, last week, Mac was losing it.
Mac Jones, I don't care what Mac Jones does. He's destroyed him. Mac Jones, everything that's happening right now is because of what Belichick did to him. Mac Jones could throw 6 picks this Sunday. I wouldn't care because he destroyed him. He's done. Either Belichick goes or he goes. He will on Lopez. Yeah, that was when they beat them last week.
Top 10 dunks of the week. Sorry for the interruption.
No, it's all right.
Pardon the interruption.
Hey, great show. Shameless plug, Will Bond, and we love you. Will Bond and what's the Kornheiser? Love you guys. Anyway,
I don't technically love them.
I love them. You don't have, Tom, you're a contrarian. You don't love anything I love, unless of course it's this and that.
We love plenty of the same things.
We love basketball,
football.
We love football,
baseball.
We do. I don't love I like baseball.
No,
I don't love it. I like it.
Food.
I love food. I do. I definitely love food. So the Giants were the victors on Sunday.
I wanted to talk to you about that.
I want to ask you, what did you think about the Italian Stallion?
I mean...
By the way, before you answer, know this. There was one true thing that was said on that broadcast. As of this morning, the New England Patriots have the number 8 defense in the NFL. They still are playing defense because, of course, all the money was spent on the defense. So even with injuries, they're still good.
And the Giants scored 10 points.
But they won the game.
Right, but I think we need to calm down a little bit about Tommy DeVito. I like him as a backup.
Didn't have a turnover.
No, I know. I like him as a backup. He actually throws the ball to Jalen Hyatt.
Yes, he
does.
Jalen
Hyatt had his first
100-yard game. And I said, you know something? This kid understands what he's got out there.
Throw it up.
Throw it up. And he did.
What do you have to lose?
I'm saying he did something that for whatever reason Danny Dimes wasn't doing.
No, and that's why I'm not trying to bring down Tommy DeVito at all. He's come into the middle of a shit show and actually look halfway decent.
They've won 2 games.
And I have to go back on something I said. When he first came in, he looked it was bad.
Yeah.
Remember, he had that one game where he had -9 yards against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a pulse in that game, they would have beat the Jets.
Yep.
But he didn't. And I remember getting mad and saying, I hate the fact that, sure, the Giants quarterback went down, but now it seems like they've all forgotten how to play football.
Yeah.
Now that he's coming in with some energy and actually some kind of confidence in the pocket, it seems like the rest of the team is actually playing like they know how to play basketball. Oh, the Knicks is back.
I know the Celtics. I want to check out the Celtics for a minute.
So I like that. The thing that I'm a little torn on is it good or bad to be winning right now?
That's a good question. I think, well, here's the problem. The Giants and the Patriots had the same question. Do they believe the guy they need to be quarterback for the future is in the room or not? Because from there, that dictates everything you do going forward. If you don't think that guy is in the room, you probably shouldn't be. Go to NBA.
Dude, this service sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did the best I could.
It's not your fault.
It's just, it's ridiculous.
It's
This
crazy.
NBA thing, $15 a month for this garbage. I can do this better with a freaking a TV antenna.
And it didn't matter if we were inside or out here.
No, it was bad.
It was lagging
It
on one
was
side.
lagging on both sides. I think it was the stupid. Hit watch and see what happens.
You gotta hit watch
Watch
again.
again. This is so stupid. You sure you want to watch it live, America? No, we want to do it on tape delay, you dickheads.
So, like, here's my thing. I don't think I really believe in tanking for a pick because we've all seen sometimes picks turn out to be shit.
There's no
sometimes
guarantee.
they blow the pick and pick the wrong person. So, if you have a chance to win, you might as well fucking win.
I'm saying I agree with you, and Michael Felger actually agree. Michael Felger said this last week. He goes, tanking for sucking, it sets a different precedent, and it becomes okay. Oh, we can just tank. No, and then you get into this cycle of losing, and all of a sudden 20 years goes by.
Exactly.
And you're the New York Jets.
And
all this shit.
Remember last year towards the end of the baseball season when I said I wanted the Mets to, like, go low so that their pick stayed in the top 6?
Yep.
They ended up not doing that.
Yeah.
But I remember talking about the concern you have about, like, does it allow for losing habits and culture to form?
It forms
When you
losing
do
culture.
that. And what in New York, the worst part is the media just feeds on it.
Of course I do.
You know, so Dable will be getting kicked while he's down.
Yeah.
Already they're telling stories about how Dable and Wink aren't getting along. And they've been arguing, not seeing eye to eye, and that Wink Martindale is going to leave at the end of the year. And their defense has been the best part of their team this
They've
year.
improved steadily.
They have had a good defense all year.
And again, the beginning of the year throw out because the Giants' schedule the first 3-4 weeks of the season was murder.
Yeah.
They played 4 of the top 7 offenses in the league.
But outside of
Like,
the
how do
Dallas,
you-
outside of the Dallas games,
Yeah.
their defense actually looks pretty good.
They were pretty competitive. They held up against elite offenses. So, no, they've been good. I think, with the offense, the Giants have the same problem the Patriots do. The offensive line stinks.
Yeah.
And it starts there. And, of course, now
It can take multiple years to rebuild an offensive line.
But here's the question, and this is the real question. Actually, it's 2 questions. If, say you think you have the quarterback, okay, the next thing you should be doing is drafting high the best lineman at the position at every pick in the draft. Because that's the quickest, easiest way to do this. And then try and add through free agency some veteran help that's some good, not journeymen, but good guys. Like the Dolphins did. The Dolphins found guys that were good, but they were solid players, and they've helped. They've solidified their line, and now they have a running game. That's why they're where they are. The Giants and the Pats can't run the ball. So if you can't run the ball, and you don't have an elite number one, or Tom Brady got away with this last year because he had 2 Hall of Fame receivers on the outside after he lost his line. They were dead last in the NFL in rushing, but they made the playoffs because he could still throw the ball to two number ones who could win one-on-one. That's how they survived that. Danny Dimes and Mac Jones don't have that luxury at all. At all. They don't have 2 guys that can win at the line on every down no matter who's covering. They don't have guys like that.
But then,
at least not yet, they don't.
The Giants GM did a press conference this week, and
This is ridiculous.
he was talking about how when Danny is healthy again, he's the starter. So then, they said, well, does that mean you won't draft a quarterback in the draft? And he was like, well, I mean, they're only up 3. That's fucking weak.
That's why I'm going to the game, because it's a game.
That is fucking weak.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Just like they fucking did against the goddamn Heat.
Trying to shut these off.
Just forget how to play starting the third quarter.
Come on.
But I don't know how I feel about it, because it's like, I think if you're in the draft and you see a quarterback that you really feel good about, you got to go for him. Now, whether that's first round, second round, like, I think if you like a guy in the draft, you should go for him. Daniel Jones can come back at some point next year. Who knows when he's going to be back? He tore his knee up.
Well, this is the
Halfway
thing.
through the year, 3/4
This is
of the way.
thing. I think if I'm the Giants, and again, I still don't know what Danny Dimes is. All right, but I know this. Until he gets a good offensive line, I'm never going to know what he is. Or if Hyatt here's the good news. If this Hyatt kid becomes what I think he can become, then he'll come back to he'll at least have a number 1 out there on the outside. And I think this kid can be that. I think Hyatt's that good. You called it last year when he came out of college. We looked at the history of these Biletnikoff winners. Yeah. This kid looks just like that. Mm-hmm. So I think they may have the guy on the outside. I think they may have solved one problem.
But if you can't pass block, you can't have a deep
But this is the thing. If I'm the Giants, I'm drafting O-line in the draft. And again, hopefully they've already fired the damn scouting team because they've missed so many fucking times. They're as bad as Belichick. Yeah. They've missed so many fucking times. How anybody in that place should have a job, given what happened to the quarterback, is beyond me.
I've been meaning to tell you this. What? It parallels what you're talking about, the scouting department. Mm-hmm. So, the Mets brought in a new president of baseball operations.
Yes.
Their GM left.
Yes.
So, and now this president of baseball operations felt like he didn't have time to get a GM, so he's kind of running the show.
Yeah.
But they have hired away people from the Astros scouting department.
Ah.
And that, to me, is very smart.
That's smart.
Because who has built a thriving organization that just keeps retooling and retooling?
They've been there.
The Astros.
The last 6-7 years?
Maybe 10.
They've been in the Final Four. Last 7, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But,
they've
been building the young talent with Altuve,
Yep.
and then they had Carlos Correa.
Yep.
Correa. They had George Springer.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, this is what the Patriots and the Giants have to do.
Yeah.
Now, in New England, they're talking about, all right, tear it down, and it's a build from the ground back up. Okay, fine. The first thing you got to do is you got to hire a very good scouting department. So you look at the teams that are built well. That's where you start.
Philly.
Yeah. KC. San Fran. Places like that.
Who drafts really good?
Who drafts really well?
Jaguars draft good.
They do too. They've built a good team there. By the way, they showed up this weekend. Big win at home against the Texans, who came in.
Pissed me off.
Trevor Lawrence played like gold, like sunshine. So
C.J. Stroud took a 9-yard sack.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then they had to kick a 59-yard field goal to tie it, and the guy hit the crossbar. If you can just throw that ball away, you go to overtime.
Yeah, you could. But they responded. KC got back on track. They dropped 31 on the road in Vegas.
They were down 14.
Yeah, and they woke up. And boy, they woke up. They scored in the next 4 possessions. But they, and again,
feels like they can always do that.
They had a receiver, Rice, who had a 100-yard game. So the receivers were better.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie they just drafted.
Yeah, and he's got talent. So they responded. Baltimore, again, they won.
We thought they were really going to get in the Chargers, and they couldn't.
The Chargers are if you look at the Chargers roster, forget the damn coach. He's a moron.
Talent everywhere.
But if you look at the talent on that team,
everywhere.
They have talent everywhere. They really do. I mean, I can't. The Chargers are not. It's going to be very rare the Chargers get out talented. Let's put it that way. So Baltimore on the road against a team that was fighting. By the way, LA needed that game. They needed that game more than Baltimore did. So they beat
it. It was tight, and Baltimore hung on.
Baltimore did hang on. And again, that defense, 10 points, held that LA to 10 points.
That is good.
That's impressive. They look the part. To me, right now in the AFC, it's Baltimore and it's everybody else. And
you think so?
Yep, I do, because KC.
Why
is he doing that? Why can't you stay there? See, it keeps reshuffling up here, and I don't know why. Even though I have all this, I don't get it.
What is that reshuffling?
I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it's doing that. I actually shut down every other window, so it's just this.
Like, what is that?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just that. Don't shrink it.
No, I was just trying to see if there was anything else open.
There isn't. I closed everything else for that reason. Now it's a 2-point game. What the hell?
Don't worry. We'll see it in.
We'll see it in tape delay, America.
If the Knicks lose to the Hornets tonight, I'm going to be really upset.
They're not going to ruin our 300th episode. But anyway, the thing is.
Oh, they might.
They won't. The thing is, look. There were a lot of things. The pecking order, and by the way, we're going to find out this weekend because Philly and San Fran are locking horns in Philly.
When is that
That's
game?
4:25 on Sunday.
we gotta
Perfect.
watch that
Yeah, we will. That's the game. That is the next game of the year.
That's the game of the year.
That's the game of the year right there. Because to me, Philly's on the win streak, and they just keep finding ways to win. And when San Fran's healthy, by the way, when San Fran's got all those 5 guys, they count 6 with Williams.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. They haven't lost a game. Trent Williams. And not only are they undefeated, they're throttling teams.
Trent Williams is the freaking engine.
He's an all-time great offensive lineman. He's an all-time great offensive lineman. And when they got him and Debo and with those other 3 guys, that team does not lose. In fact, most teams can't hang with them.
Dude, it's crazy that they have on every level of offense, from the quarterback to the line to the running back to the tight end to the slot to the fucking deep threat. It's crazy what they have out there.
Yeah.
You talk about a team that gets drafted well.
John Lynch.
No, they didn't draft Trent Williams or Christian McCaffrey.
Well, they traded for them, but the point is they drafted Kittles and they drafted Debo and they drafted, Debo.
And
There's a name, Bill. Debo.
And
Remember
Ayuk.
him? And Ayuk.
And Purdy with the last pick in the draft, which that was lucky.
That fell into their lap. But the thing is, any quarterback in that system has been pretty successful. All the quarterbacks have done well with the talent around them. But the thing is, they've had a capable quarterback, but they build around the quarterback.
Yeah.
Unlike a certain team in Foxborough.
Well, they're already built around the quarterback.
Yeah,
but
but Lynch knew that.
Yeah.
He's like, look, and he builds it from. Look at the San Fran offensive and defensive lines. They're the best. They're the best in them. Philadelphia, Baltimore. You look at those 3 teams in particular, and look in the trenches for those 3 teams, and trust me, they're the 3 best teams in the league right now. They really are. So, to me, this weekend's going to be great because of that game. Pittsburgh keeps finding.
Was great because the Philly-Buffalo game was insane.
Well, Josh Allen didn't lose it.
He was good. He was really fucking good.
He was really good in that game. But this is the thing. He can be that dude, and the next week is like, who the hell are you?
Well, the crappy part is he did make 2 critical mistakes.
He did.
The pick where Bradbury dropped off his guy on the sideline and tricked him.
Yeah.
That was tough. It wasn't horrible.
No.
Because it was a great scheme.
Actually, it was.
The way the corner dropped in like that.
Yeah, they set it up.
But then the missed throw to Gabe Davis to win the game in overtime.
Well, did he run the wrong route or did Josh throw the wrong ball?
Well, it was almost like he needed to wait just a second more to see which way he was going to go. Because you knew he was going to be open. Mm-hmm. You could see it from the route. Mm-hmm. You just didn't know which side he was going on. But I think he was getting some pressure in his face, so he probably felt like he really couldn't hold it for any longer.
That's why it's doing it, because I hit that and now it's doing it. So, that was a great scheme by Philly, and that was the game of the year, because that went back and forth and went into overtime. By the way, Josh Allen's now 0-6 in overtime. That's not a good
dude,
start.
And Jalen Hurts is a fucking beast.
He is. He's a winner. The dude's a winner.
I wish
the dude's a winner.
I wish he was the Giants quarterback.
That dude's a winner. But again, before he got his weapons, they didn't know what he was. All of a sudden, you draft the kid from Alabama, the Heisman winner, and you get A.J. Brown. But how dumb is Tennessee? Let A.J. Brown go. Give me a break. Tennessee is beyond dumb. Whoever that GM is, he needs to take a long walk off a short pier. Seriously. You know what? He's a top 5 receiver in this league. So all of a sudden, he gets 2 number 1s. And now,
strong tight end.
Yeah, strong tight end.
One of the best offensive lines in the league.
If not the best.
Probably the best.
Probably the best.
Best center in the league.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah.
And when you're a young quarterback, center's very important.
Everything. Yeah.
It is so important. Yeah. And you see it when a center gets hurt.
Oh. See Tampa Bay last year. When Tampa Bay lost Jepson last year, that they couldn't run. It was over. Yeah. It was over.
And then on top of that all, Jalen Hurts, he's awesome.
He's a born leader.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Dare I say he is Brady-esque.
Dude, when they tied it to go into overtime, he was pissed.
He's Brady-esque.
Because he was like, we should have fucking won this game 20 minutes ago.
That's something Tom Brady would say.
And it's something like somebody like me would be on the sideline going, what are you fucking pouting about? Yeah. He's not pouting. He's annoyed. Because they spent the first half of that game doing nothing.
Look at your quarterback has to be that dude on every level, and he has to be that leader. He's got to be the tough soldier. He's got to be the one that looks at you and goes, this isn't good enough. Yeah. But we're winning. It's still not good enough. Yeah. Until we're holding that damn Lombardi trophy, it ain't going to be good enough. And that's how you win the Lombardi trophy. Yeah. I watched this up close for 20. That dude's got to be like that, and Hurts is that dude.
Yeah. See, I've never been like that.
He's that dude. So you got to have a guy like that, or you can't win a championship.
It's got to be
You
that
can't.
important to
It's
your
got to be.
leader.
It's got to be his life. Kobe Bryant said it. I'm not this guy. And some guy asked Kobe Bryant, "Why don't you pass him the ball?" He's like, "Well, I've seen the guy show up to practice 5 minutes before it starts. I've seen him on his phone. He's the first guy to leave when practice ends. You think I'm going to have him? This is my family. This is my legacy. This is my life. This is my career. You think I'm giving him the ball? Fuck, I don't trust him. Fuck him. I've seen his work ethic." And by the way, Kobe Bryant was 100% right when he said that. And he wasn't the first guy I ever heard say it. So I've heard every great athlete in every sport say something like that. Okay,
Yeah,
from Larry to Magic to Michael Jordan to all of them, they all say shit like that. Kevin Garnett, I've heard them all say it. All the guys that have rings, they all sound eerily familiar.
Well, remember when I told you about that documentary, The Redeem Team?
Yeah.
Where, USA was going back to the Olympics. They decided to add Kobe because they didn't have
They didn't have that dude.
And he comes in. He didn't really know anybody. And it was after Kobe's, where the thing happened with him and the woman at the hotel, and he had to publicly come out and say he cheated on his wife, but it was consensual. Then it also came out that he had said shit to the cops about Shaq. So nobody liked Kobe.
Not a good look for Kobe.
Nobody liked Kobe at that point. And
No, but
it's
he did that
crazy
to-
how it changes.
But he did it to himself.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And then he goes to the Olympics, and I think it was Carmelo telling the story. They were all, after practice, they all went out late. They're coming back in at like 6 in the morning. And as they're walking into the hotel, this is Melo, LeBron, Dwayne Wade,
all of them.
Kobe's coming down, going to the gym for the second time.
Second time. It's
He's
6
already been to the gym.
6 a.m.
And they were like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to the gym. And they're like, damn. So then the next day,
They started showing up.
the next day, D. Wade and LeBron went.
Yep.
And then by the end of the week, the whole team was doing
Yeah.
it.
Because they didn't understand.
That's influence
That's
right there.
influence.
That is major league
Yes,
influence.
it is. And here's the funny part. This is why I laugh at LeBron James and why I don't put him ahead of Kobe Bryant. LeBron James didn't know that. Like, how do you call your? This is the thing.
He was also pretty young.
It doesn't
He was
matter.
pretty young.
Kobe knew that from the jump. He was young when he knew it. Kobe Bryant. Nobody had to teach Kobe Bryant that.
No, it's who you are.
Don't call yourself the chosen one if you ain't the chosen one.
I don't know. Did he call himself the chosen one?
Yes, and he also said he was taking his talents to South Beach.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I know you can't stand him. I still like
Not
him.
2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not
That's
that
the
shit,
worst thing.
America. That's LeBron.
I've always
for you.
wanted to make a meme with that with that voice in the back going, how many times do you rewear your jeans? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. I'm serious.
I know
Not
you are.
7.
I know you are.
No, that's what he said after he said not 4. He was like, I'm serious. Not 5. That was the thing I hated more than anything was when the smoke went off as they were walking out and Chris Bosh came out and went, yeah, and I was just like, oh my God.
Talking about that guy is
Wow.
That guy is the definition. Oh, you mean what's his name?
Coattails.
Coattails.
Bosh.
Yeah, Chris Coattails Bosh. That's what Chris Coattails.
The
Bosh.
crazy thing is, he went from being like
Toronto Raptors.
an MVP type guy to being a spot up 3-point shooter.
Yeah. But he won 2 championships.
He did. He did it.
Because he knew he had 2 alpha dogs out there that were better than him.
Yeah, I guess.
Simple as that.
Well, that shows you had the ability to adapt. 'Cause
Hey,
he wasn't a shooter in Toronto, right?
he could
was like a
shoot.
one-on-one
He
player,
could shoot
wasn't
it,
he?
but he was a mid-range
block?
post up. He could do that